All right, NA playoffs are upon us, and we have the top 6 locked and loaded, ready to go. And it went pretty much as expected. Shopify in first, DZ in second, M80 in third, SSG in fourth, OXG in fifth, and sixth place wildcard. The only one that I didn't really predict very well was OXG getting fifth place. I thought Cloud9 would have made it in, but sorry, Cloud9 fans, it wasn't the case. So let's, again, if you guys saw the EU video, cool, but we're going to be doing predictions on the NA side of things. And, again, I came out with a hot take in that EU video, the first game, VP versus Matchco. I might have picked Matchco to win. Oopsie. Sorry, guys. Didn't happen. But that's what predictions are for. However, this NA one, I think it's going to be a little bit more simple. So, let's see if you guys are following me. This is the playoff bracket. And again, this starts on Wednesday. NA starts Wednesday. I believe it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of this week. So let's see, the 16th, Wednesday the 16th. A little bit different also. NA is only the top 4 teams out of the top 6. So playoffs is the top 6. The top 4 will make it to EWC and the upcoming major. So 2 teams will not make it. This 5th place match will not matter. Okay, so for our first game, we got M80 versus Oxygen. And for me, I'm going to pick M80. I just think Oxygen have been kind of struggling a little bit this stage still. I mean, they're at 12 points. I think NA is very, very top heavy. And the top 4 are the top 4. And I think they're top 4 for a reason. I think they have the best players on those teams. I think they have the best salaries on those teams. And the last time we saw M80 play OXG, it was a 7-0 on Skyscraper. I'm not saying this game's going to be an absolute 7-0. But I do think this is an easy one for M80. And I'm going to put them moving into the semifinals. The next game that is coming up is going to be Space Station and Wildcard. Now, they did play each other earlier in the season, and Wildcard did manage actually to get that win. So this definitely has upset potential. And if you guys saw my power ranking NA video, I did say that Wildcard has a good shot to be a dark horse in these playoffs specifically. They started out not too good. Again, they beat Space Station early on, and then they've been losing all their games. But they kind of pulled it together at the end of the season. They've been playing more like themselves, they're talking about. But in a best of 3, I'm going to still take Space Station. I haven't been impressed with Space Station entirely this season. I think they're lacking in the meta. I don't see them running a lot of shields. I don't see them running a lot of the meta operators in general, Glass. So it makes operator bans pretty easy against them. And just in general. But I still think they have enough talent on that team that the roster is completely stacked on paper. I think they should be able to handle Wildcard. And that is going to make Dark Zero, SSG, Shopify, M80. That is going to put what? That is going to put Wildcard. I don't know why I'm spelling the whole thing, but Wild C and OXG are going to fall down here to the quarters. And now we're going to start talking about the upper bracket again. Shopify M80. Shopify literally just went 9-0, the first ever NAL team to go completely undefeated. And I don't think it's quite stopping yet into the playoffs. I think Shopify is a counter to M80. Personally, I think M80 moves a little bit in the mid-round and late round, and Shopify is very, very good at isolating those positions and killing a lot of the power spots, a lot of set plays. It was a pretty close game when they matched up this season on Lair. M80 actually did pretty good, just losing, I believe it was 5-7, and Ambi had to drop 20 kills for them to get eliminated. But again, in a best of 3, we're going to see more maps come into play. I still think Shopify is going to be a little bit too much for M80, and I'm going to be putting them into the upper bracket finals. And then Dark Zero SSG, our other semifinal in the upper bracket. First time we're going to be seeing Dark Zero play. Space Station, these two did match up very recently, and they went to border. Space Station actually did end up beating Dark Zero 7-5. However, that is SSG's best map. The map pool lines up very, very closely between these teams. It's like Consulate, Border, Cafe. It's like 3 maps they all like. But I don't think in my head, I don't think Dark Zero showed all their cards on Border. I think if we get a rematch in a best of 3, Dark Zero is still going to be too much to handle. I think the top 2 in NA, Dark Zero and Shopify, are too strong in best of 3s for M80 and SSG. So for that reason, again, I'm going to be putting DZ And then here, let me think about this for a second because I know they flip. So Space Station is going to go down to here and play SSG. And M80 is going to go down here and play Wildcard. As far as the lower bracket quarterfinals, we got M80 Wildcard. This is where, again, M80 are too good of a team. This is literally the Beast Coast core. These players have literally won a major together, and they're going against Wildcard, who I think have been improving, but I just don't think they are quite there yet. So I'm going to take M80 here. Still, I think the experienced core is going to be able to take them out. Playoffs, I think they're going to lock more in. I expect to see some big things out of Mr. Gaveni, and that is going to solidify. I think after this spot right here, this is going to be your teams. Any team past this line to the right is going to be qualified for EWC. So Shopify DZ punch their tickets. M80 is the next team and the third team to punch their ticket into EWC, which is the next major. At this point, SSG, OXG. Again, I still think the top four, it's too much. Space Station just played OXG. I believe it was on Chalet, and it was like 6-3 at the half or something like that. They started losing some rounds on attack, called a timeout. They put it away very, very quickly. I think Space Station knows the style now that they need to be playing against OXG. I think you don't need to do like your spread pressure kind of thing. Like just keep a simple default takes versus OXG. I think you have better guns on paper than this team. This team is like a lot of OXG is a lot of mailboxes. They're ready for that spread pressure kind of thing. They can each hold their own lane. Game plan wise, again, SSG is going to be too strong, so they are going to move in. And this is going to be your top four. These are going to be the four teams representing NA. Surprise, surprise! I know I didn't call any hot takes here, but this is who's going to make the major for NA. And I would be very surprised to see somewhat different. M80 SSG. I'm going to take M80 again. I just think M80 is a little bit better than SSG at this meta. M80 can abuse all the power ops. They got Hot Gold on Monte, and they got Kino playing the Glaz and Ying and different operators like that. SSG, again, I think what I need to see from this playoffs and going into the major is that they can run the meta operators and not play just a super, super default Siege, be able to play a little bit more styles. And I don't know if we're really going to see it quite yet. Again, M80, I already think they're there, and I think they're going to lock in for the playoffs. This is my prediction. I think they are going to stop the trolling, lock in for the playoffs. Best of threes is where this team wants to be. So they will be in the lower bracket final. Shopify DZ was probably the best match that was played in NA this season, and it was on Lair. It was a 7-5, and it looked like Shopify actually just countered DZ very, very well on Lair. There's so much firepower on both of these teams, but strategically, again, they came out on top. I just think, again, Shopify might have a really good map pool on DZ, and for that reason, I think this time in the upper bracket final, I am going to take Shopify, and I'm going to, again, punch their ticket into the grand finals, and they're going to remain unbeaten to this point, but I think we are going to see a much, like that 7-5 we saw in Lair was one of the best matches we watched, and I expect to see 3 maps of like just back and forth, 2-1 overtimes and all of it is what I'm really, really hoping for, because, again, I think this is still our best 2 teams in the region. That's going to put DZ M80. M80 are improving, but I do think Spirits, the Spirits diff going against his former teammates on M80, when they played earlier in the season, DZ ended up winning on Border, I believe, and they didn't even need to use any cheese. We're going to see a lot more maps coming out. We're going to see Spirits on those meta ops, and we're in playoffs. DZ are going to be M80. And then Shopify, DZ, it's the grand finals. It's the match everyone probably expected and wanted, and we think these are our best 2 teams going into the grand finals and going into EWC. And for me, I just think, and this is for the storyline, probably for the storyline, but I just think it's very hard to be a good team 3 times. Shopify beating DZ on Layer 7-5. They would beat them here in the upper bracket grand final. To win again in the grand finals is insane. I think DZ learned from their mistakes. They'll come very well prepped. Kenny will have them absolutely dialed. And I am picking DZ to be the the stage 1 champs. Stage 1 champs. And picking it for the storyline, picking it for the DZ boys, Spirits on there, Robbie, all the DZ fans that are probably in my chat right now as I'm recording this video. This is for you guys. I think they finally get it. Regardless, I still think no matter what, this is going to be the grand final, Shopify DZ. And we're going to be setting, this is good. We're going to be setting our best 4 teams to EWC. And I'm very excited to watch all our NA team play when we get there. I think we got NA bias here, but I think we got a fantastic chance at it, and I'll be excited to watch it. We'll be co-streaming right here, of course, on twitch.tv/mint. So if you want to come watch, please stop by. And yeah, that's going to be it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.